Hi guys, welcome to Shannon Kate Read Stuff. I'm Shannon and coming to you from my lovely work apartment in Newman. So sorry about the terrible background. This video is about all the books that I read in July. I finished 16 books and DNF'd 2. So let's get right into it. The books I DNF'd were Women in the Waves and Ritual. Women in the Waves, I DNF'd after 5 pages. It probably is a really good book. It just wasn't what I thought it was going to be. I didn't realize that it was sort of a historical fiction as well as being a magical realism. And Ritual, I listened to it on audio and I got about halfway through and I was just so bored. It's kind of like a poor Australian knockoff of Rouge, but just really much slower. So yeah, I put those ones down. So the 2.5 star book that I read in July is Hum by Helen Phillips. It's a dystopia about motherhood. Again, I just thought it was really boring. I also thought that her kids were overindulged brats, and I don't know, I just didn't like the writing style at all. For 3-star reads, we have In the Dream House by Carmen and Machado. I had been looking forward to reading this book for a very long time, so I was actually quite disappointed with it. I just didn't, it's hard because like it is a book about abuse, about domestic abuse, and everyone knows that no one should have to put up with any form of domestic abuse, but to be so affected by it that you feel the need to write a book about the situation. And also, like, it's very easy to find out who this other woman was. But yeah, to write a book about it, like, it must have been pretty bad. And I'm not denying that it was, but just in the book, it's really minimized. Like, the actual abuse is just kind of glossed over. And that didn't sit right with me. That kind of, it was sort of like, oh, this book is saying this is terrible and awful and I need to like purge myself by writing this book. But then when she describes the abuse, it's kind of like, yeah, you could have just walked away. So I don't know, I'm probably not the right audience for it, to be honest anyway. One of the other 3-star reads I had was another one that I've been looking forward to reading for a very long time, and that is I Who Have Never Known Men by Jacqueline Harpman, translated by Ross Schwartz. This book actually came out in like, I think it was the early 90s originally. And yeah, and then it was repackaged up this year or last year, maybe last year. I don't like it. I know the whole thing behind this book is that you never find the answers, like you're never given the answers at all, just as the character is never given the answers. So I went into it knowing that and being aware of that fact, but I just kind of went through the whole thing going like, what is actually the point of this? It's not really a good social commentary because obviously they're not in a situation that is in any way, shape or form normal. But it's also not the reaction of normal people in this really weird situation, because the character constantly says she's not like other women. She's not the same. She is, I don't know, different in other ways. So it's kind of like, all right, cool. You've got this really weird situation and then you've got this really weird character. So that doesn't actually say anything about anything. And then the book goes on to not say anything about anything. So yeah, I was frustrated and yeah, I didn't really see why it's gotten such rave reviews. And again, the third one that I gave 3 stars, I was really disappointed by because this had been on my like to read list. Well, it hadn't come out yet, so like I was anticipating it for a long time. And that's Mayra by Nicki Gonzalez. Yeah, I bought this like the day that it was released, and I read it like over the next 2 days, and I was just really disappointed. it can't really decide what it wants to be. Oh, if you can see smoke, by the way, I'm not on fire. It's just some incense that no matter where I put it, it's gonna blow in front of the camera. Sorry. Anyway, so yeah, so this book doesn't really know what it's meant to be. Like, is it like a coming of age kind of like story? Is it a friendship story? Is it a character study? Is it a horror? Is it like, what is it? Because it just kept changing. It wasn't like all of those elements were woven through the book. It was literally like, okay, at this point it's a horror. At this point it's talking about friendship. At this point it's talking about character development and stuff. Like, there was no intermingling of those things throughout the book. It was very kind of segmented. And again, I just didn't really get the point of it. So, all right, so on to some good news. For 4 stars, I read Taken and Tipping Point, which is book 2 and 3 in the Kate Miles series by Dinuka McKenzie. I really love these. It's Australian crime, very well written, pulls no punches, she kills characters, she makes you cry. So yeah, these ones were really good police procedurals with like really good characters, really dynamic range of characters in them. So I quite enjoyed those 2. Then I read Foreign Country by Marija Pericic. I went to the Perth launch of this book and met Marija, and she's lovely. It was the book that she did for her PhD studies. So yeah, it was a really good book. And the way that it's put together, you kind of don't know. There's sort of some stuff that you're not sure about until right at the end of the book, and then it all snaps into place and you're like, oh, how did I not pick that up? But yeah, really good. I finished The Lamb by Lucy Rose, which I have been reading very slowly for 6 months. Yeah, it's good. It's solid horror. It's gross, and then there's cannibals. And it is really well written. I did enjoy it. I really loved the ending. As much as you can love that ending, I guess. I did find it really slow in patches, and quite repetitive quite often. But that said, it is a debut. So I think whatever Lucy Rose comes up with next is going to be absolutely fantastic. My final 4-star is The Return of Ellie Black by Emiko. In Australia, it's called The Next Girl, for reasons I don't understand, because that's a stupid title. Anyway, it's a book about a girl who has been kidnapped and then she suddenly reappears. And like, then there's a police woman who is trying to figure out the mystery of what happened to her, because she's not very forthcoming about it. This was really good. It had a great twist. I listened to it on audio with my wife and she enjoyed it too. And yeah, I thought it was really well put together and really well plotted out, because I didn't have a clue what was going to happen next throughout the whole book. So I really enjoy it when that happens. 4.5 stars, The Garden by Newman. I picked this up at the library because it was on like the new book release shelf and I thought it looked good, so I grabbed it. And I'm so glad I did, because I really enjoyed this. It's kind of like sci-fi, dystopia, kind of, you never really find out what's actually happening with the outside world, but it's the story of these 2 sisters who are like quite elderly, and they live and have always lived in this garden, and they just tend the garden and exist, and that's their life. And then a boy rocks up, and what the hell do they do with this boy? Yeah, I thought this was really good. It's a really good sort of look at what you're willing to do in kind of those insane circumstances when you have sort of this routine that, yes, it's monotonous, and yes, you kind of have queries about what's going on outside and stuff, but you just sort of keep your head down and do the stuff. And then when that is turned on its head, the different kind of reactions that people can have to having their whole life completely upended. Yeah, so yeah, that one is really good. I really enjoyed it. 5 stars, I have 5. Flesh by David Szalay. This was obviously nominated for the Booker long list. It's really good. I hated the character, but the writing was absolutely amazing. So yeah, be sure to pick that one up. The Samurai the Rich by Maritza and Maika Moulite. This was a hilarious romp. It is a zombie story. It's YA, but I still really enjoyed it. It's just fun and a little bit campy and over the top, but it also has some excellent social commentary, which I really enjoy in a YA. I read The Starving Saints by Cailtin Starling. I had this on audio. It was a great fun time. I've seen so many people critique this book, saying that it didn't live up to expectations. I kind of went in with no expectations and I found it really fun. The writing was good. The gore was cool. Like the horror elements of it are quite good. There's one scene where a character is sort of climbing through a tunnel and I was on a plane when I was listening to that, and I had to like physically like do the deep breathing thing to calm my anxiety because I was so like, oh my God, I'm stuck in the tunnel. Oh. I'm severely claustrophobic. Anyway, so yeah, no, I really enjoyed this. I think it's very similar, not in like subject matter or whatever, but in sort of results to Victorian Psycho, because a lot of people said that Victorian Psycho was also like didn't live up to the hype and was really like overblown and stuff like that. I think both of these books people were wanting more from, and if you kind of went into it with the like, oh, this is just going to be fun, a little bit gory, then they were great, because I really enjoyed Victorian Psycho because I wasn't expecting anything more than gory fun. And same with this, I wasn't expecting anything more than like a really weird book about cannibals. So yeah, like go into it with no expectations and you'll love it. Also get the audiobook because I think it's Barry Kretz. She's fantastic, like reads it perfectly. Then I read The Girl Who Drank the Moon by Kelly Barnhill, and now I want to read every single one of Kelly Barnhill's novels. The sort of younger audience ones. I've already read When Women Were Dragons, Once Women Were Dragons, anyway, something about women and dragons, and I really enjoyed that one too. The Girl Who Drank the Moon is like a lovely little fairy tale about found family and magic and saving the world. So that's really cool. And then Sister Snake by Amanda Lee Coe, I also gave 5 stars. I started reading this before I came up here last time, so I had like sort of a 3-week break, and then I went back to it and read the whole thing in one night because I just got really engrossed in the story. It's 2 sisters who are snakes originally. They sort of live as snakes in China, and then they become human. Like they can turn into humans when they want to, and they can turn back into snakes and stuff like that. And this takes them a very long time, kind of brings them to the modern age. And then once they find, like when they find that once they're human, they don't actually get along as well as they did when they were snakes. So their paths have kind of diverged, and then some things happen and it brings them back together. And then it's the story of their very messy relationship when they're together because of the other factors in their lives that originally pulled them apart. I really liked this. I thought it was a really good sort of look at culture in Singapore and the expectations of men and women within that. And also just kind of the different things that you can do if you're immortal and can turn into a snake whenever you want, like the different paths the different things that looks like, the different ways that looks for different people. So yeah, anyway, that is the 16 books that I read in July. Do not expect me to read 16 books in any other month. It was mostly because I was home in July and I read 16 books, so that's pretty good. Anyway, thank you so much for watching this, guys, and I will see you next time.